Hey everyone, this is Martha McGee here. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Nine Dot Arts. And today I am so excited to be speaking with my dear friend, Rachel Quinn. She is the Senior Director of Venue Management at Live Nation Entertainment. Rachel, welcome to the show.
Hello, happy to be here, Martha.
So Rachel and I have known each other for quite some time. I believe the first time we met was the project that we worked on for the CSU Spur campus in the north side of the Rhino District in Denver, Colorado, when Rachel was working at CAA Icon. And I remember thinking, wow, what a cool young woman who is in charge of such a massive project. I cannot wait to get to know her. So you've done nothing but impress me since the day that I met you. And I am so excited for everyone to hear your voice and your stories on the show today.
Amazing. Thank you. That's so
So,
nice.
well, there are not many women out there building amazing venues for millions of people. And prior to this role at Not Live Nation, you were working for another major entertainment company, CAA Icon. And in that role, we got to collaborate on these programs like the CSU Spur Life Science Campus here in Denver. We were working on the art program there. We got to work on the Intuit Dome Arena out in California. And now you're leading these projects at Live Nation. And when you look across your experiences, what do you feel like these amazing projects have in common?
Yeah, no, that's a really good question, Martha. And also, yes, when we first met, I was a baby. I think that was 10 years ago.
We were babies.
We were
babies.
So yeah,
and in charge of big shit.
right. Really big shit. Really big shit. The two big projects we've worked on together, CSU Spur, Into a Dome, out in that little arena out in
that
California.
Cute little arena in Inglewood.
Yeah. The underlying factor there for me is vision, a very, very clear, strong vision for how the two ownership groups of, the driving forces behind those two projects, how they wanted the public to interact with them, how they wanted to engage with the community in a really special and like intimate way. And then the other one that I can't not say it, but they were both spearheaded by really, really intelligent, strong women. And I think that they had a very clear vision. Amy Parsons with Spur, Jocelyn, they had a very clear, vision of brand and what the next steps were and what the next generations of how they wanted to interact with Spur and how they wanted to pull people in. And then the same with Gillian Zucker out at the Clippers. She had the clear vision of the brand, how to make it special, and how to just not make it just another arena.
Yeah.
On top of all the tech and everything else that comes with the arenas, right? I just think it was a really clear vision to make it different, to do things differently.
Absolutely. And the result of that, so for our listeners, you might hear buzzwords like vision or community engagement and having, a clear definition of being involved with the public in the early stages. But what does that really mean in actuality? And I think of some specific examples with each of these projects that we got to work on together with CSU Spur, for example. There's a whole park outside in the backyard as part of the campus where everyone is invited to walk through. There's these cool sculptures by Nikki Pike, who's a local artist that represent the whitecaps of the Platte River that's right next to the facility that's adjacent with the Clipper Stadium and Gillian's leadership there. There's basketball courts for all outside where everyone, the neighborhood, the community is invited to come play. Those are just a couple of examples that I think of, what that actually looks like, how it manifests. And I'm curious what examples come to your mind of like the day-to-day interaction for
Yeah.
these communities, for these neighborhoods? What does it mean?
Well, well, that's actually interesting, Martha, because I feel like at Spur, it was responding to exactly what the community wanted. Now,
Mhm.
I'm I'm testing my memory here because it was so long ago. I think CSU held so many community meetings for years leading up
Yeah.
to that campus to drive
Yeah.
what program they had.
Yep.
And that also led to all of these art installations as well, and these community kind of interactions that you're speaking to with the backyard at the water building. I've only been back once to see how it's being interacted with, but now that that
Mhm.
whole river redevelopment is filling in, the National Western finished their river, the connective part of it.
Mhm.
And so I would love to see how that like is continuing to be used and how it's growing and evolving into kind of this next thing.
Mhm.
You're obviously heading on to the community engagement at Intuit Dome. It was the same thing.
Yeah.
They reached out to the communities. They said, "What additional assets can we help bring to Inglewood?" And one of them was a public place where they could gather, they could participate, obviously basketball court, right? But then it became so much more because now it's these huge watch parties, it's concerts, it's all these other activations that are 100% open to the public. And, you know, there's no ticket. You don't need a ticket to go watch
Yeah.
the game live because you can't get inside kind of thing. So I think those were really cool moments. We did all the I think the tie to bring in all of California with all the jerseys. Do
Mhm.
you remember the
Mhm.
jerseys around
Yeah,
all the
yeah,
bowls?
right.
Yeah.
Right.
So super, that was a very intimate touch. I think that no one expected to be as meaningful as it really was when you had local and people coming into the building, and they would go and they would find their jersey around the bowl and like take pictures with it. I mean, my fiance did it.
Oh,
When
so
we beta
awesome.
tested. Yeah. So first time we went into the stadium. And so I had pictures with him and his high school, like it's his high school from Sacramento represented up on the wall. So just really cool touches like that.
That's amazing. And for those of you who are just listening, I have to share that Rachel's in her office, and behind her, you can see her jersey, number 24. So that's awesome too, because you played basketball in college.
Well, oh God, no. Well, yes, I did, but that is not my personal jersey. That was a gift.
Oh,
So,
I love it.
yeah, it's one of the really cool things that my old company Icon would do at the end of we did a stadium or arena or whatever the big project was. We would get personalized jerseys of the team. So
Oh,
that's
that's
actually a Clippers
cool.
jersey. But yeah,
Sweet.
yeah, super cool.
The one and only, I feel like I need your autograph now. That's pretty awesome. So, okay, just to give a sense of scale and impact, how many people come through the Intuit Dome Arena a year, approximately?
It can't be shy of the millions markers, right? Like you think
Exactly.
of
Yeah.
if it's a 18,000 seat capacity basketball, you have
Mhm.
what, 45 plus home games a year. I
Yeah.
can't do quick math, but you're gonna
Yeah.
assume that there's more people coming in, and then they are very activated in a um
Yep.
concert
So
format
810,000 a
okay.
season approximately for the basketball season alone. And then it doubles as an event venue,
Right.
right? So that's
Right.
happening probably at least another 45
At
days
least.
a year, at least,
Oh, for
maybe more.
concerts, they're trying to be in the I knew they were trying to set goals for in the 75 to 100 a year. Um,
Okay.
so that's a huge number too. And then to your point on just everyday events like Nine Dot Arts, you want to go have your company retreat at the Intuit Dome. There's all sorts of event space.
So we're over 2 million. So
Yeah.
that makes sense. So think about, you've got 2 million people a year coming through this space. That's a lot of people. That's a huge impact, right? And you get to experience these places as an audience member, but also as someone who is part of this visionary leadership and design team. And I'm sure that weight isn't lost on you. I mean,
Hmm.
you're having an impact on millions of people when these places are designed. So, what do you think about when you're building these spots? Because people have choices now. We can't you could stream a live concert from home. You could, you could stay in, but these 2 million people who come choose to go out because it's important to them. And why do you think people continue to seek out these experiences? What makes them special? What is it about gathering with thousands of strangers that can't be replicated?
Hmm.
What is it that gives the lifeblood, the pulse for these places? What are audiences looking for?
I think we know as consumers ourselves, right, as visitors to these places ourselves, that what keeps bringing us back is just the live experience, the buzz, the
Yeah.
essence that you can't get anywhere else, right? So the feeling of let's take a basketball game, for instance, fourth quarter, winding down, it's coming down to the buzzer, right? Like those goosebumps and that energy that is just so contagious and palpable. You can't get that from your couch. Like that's not going to happen. Same with live music. Just it's untouchable, even if you go from a venue of 300 people to 20,000. Like that's just not an experience you can get outside of a venue or a place that is built for that, right?
Yeah.
But I would be curious though too. I know how I feel, right? Like I'll get the goosebumps and I just like really get energized off of other people. But I'd be
Yeah.
curious, like you too, from a visitor and from a concert goer and a spectator, like what keeps you going back to these venues?
Energy. Just
Yeah.
like the energy of the room,
Yeah.
of singing the same song or
Yes.
chanting the same chant, and uh even when I visit other countries, I want to go to see a show or see a
Mhm.
game, and I'm like chanting in Spanish or German. I don't even know exactly what we're yelling, but I
Right.
am in it. I am
But I'm
so
in
in
it.
it,
Yes.
because
Yes.
there's just something about the momentum of a group of people focused and excited on this one thing that I think helps you relax and
Mhm.
just tune out all of the other noise.
Mhm.
All of the other noise of our day-to-day lives, all of the
Mhm.
things that are competing for our attention. And honestly, when you get to the Intuit Dome, it sees 18,000 people. Like, you got to focus. You got to
Yeah.
focus. You got to focus on where you're going. You got to figure out where your seat is. You get there, and if you want to have fun, you got to watch the game. You
Yeah.
got to watch the game. You got to watch the show. And I think it's one of the few places where we get to say, no, all these other distractions in life, those can stay
Yep.
outside.
They all go on pause.
Because
Mhm.
when I'm here, I'm in this. And
Mhm.
there's something about being in the place with all the other people who are focused on that one thing that just gives us permission
Mhm.
to tune out to the rest of it.
Right.
And that's why I feel like it's special.
Yeah, I think that's why it is also electric. Like, I mean, I'm not a Knicks fan. I'm a Clippers fan for life, right?
Right,
But
right,
when the
right.
Knicks, like
You
this
got the
run,
jersey.
exactly. But this run that they had, like like you can see it from afar, even like even the entire island of Manhattan and all of New York was, and all of the boroughs and da da da. Um, uh, they were all going nuts and are probably
Yeah.
still going nuts celebrating this championship. And it even like it was palpable even to us. We were rooting them on. Like it was so contagious, and like the connectivity of it all, that that's all happening because of this live sporting event.
So those are like all the benefits and the good things. And then I also feel like human behavior can sometimes get a little weird in these group
Yeah.
settings. Like people do unexpected things that they wouldn't normally do because it like felt right at the time or it seemed
Mhm.
okay at the time. So maybe, I don't know, maybe just like a fun fact, or has anything surprised you? Like, have you learned things about human behavior? Like, oh gosh, we actually, had to design the paper towel holders with locks on them because people were like taking them all and throwing them as confetti in I don't know, like
That's a good one. You can design an arena or a venue with a very specific path for someone to take in mind,
yeah.
right? Like they're
Yeah.
going to go do this, they're going to go look at this, and then they're going to make their way to their seat, and it's just going to be this perfect flow. And I think that human behavior throws all of that off, right? Like there's no, like you can do all the studies, the people mover
Yeah.
studies, and
Yeah.
yep, they're going to go over
Yep.
here, they're going to pause for 5 minutes, and then they're going to bounce over here. And I think that there's absolutely no way to predict human behavior and how they
Mm,
will actually interact with the space once they get inside. Like
yeah.
we had at Intuit Dome, for instance, I remember beta test. You walk in and there's that huge, beautiful bar under that giant
Right.
escalator. And we just thought, no doubt, that place is going to be packed. It's going to be awesome. It's just going to be quick, and at the beginning, that wasn't the case because everybody was just so excited to get it. Right? So
Yeah.
they kind
They
of
don't
just
want to
looked
miss it.
past it. Yeah, they didn't want to miss it. And so I'm hoping now that more people are becoming more familiar with it, that it's getting interacted with more and more, because it was such a cool bar.
Yeah.
And but no, like everybody's like, I want to get inside. I want to
Yeah.
see all of what's happening in there. So yeah, I don't know. I guess that'd be my biggest takeaway, is like
Yeah.
it's kind of unpredictable because people are people.
So I was thinking of that question more from the lens of the audience of people who
Mm.
go to shows. I'm also curious about the lens of the professional athletes, the performers.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll just share a story. So I got to spend some time with Santi Gold when she was touring through Denver. She's the coolest, by the way.
It's so cool.
And we went backstage with her. We were kind of hanging out back there, and it was surprisingly chill. It was like surprisingly underdeveloped, I guess, like
Mhm.
a very Spartan space,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
And I think this particular venue, which was not a Live Nation venue, by the way, it had a particularly kind of like Spartan setup, like not a
Uh-huh.
great setup for backstage. But how do you think about designing the behind the scenes spaces or the backstage spaces for professional athletes, for professional artists and musicians, like the
Yeah.
performers, the entertainers, the athletes coming through? What does that look like?
Yeah. Yeah. I'll take the artist one first, because that's the world I've been living in so intimately, and what I was intimately involved with at the Intuit Dome too. And um it's kind of multi-tiered, and I think every venue does it a little bit different. I know with us at Live Nation, one of the big things that we're instilling on our new venues and amphitheaters is a consistency in the
Mm,
back of house, right?
mhm.
Because we want we want our artists and all artists really who are coming into Live Nation venues to know what they're going to get, right? So it is
Yeah.
like a little bit of a creature comfort.
Mhm.
So they know when they come, they're going to have a full shower. It's going to be
Yeah.
super nice, great amenities with the crew kitchen and crew showers, which is also a
Yeah.
really big deal, right? Because they're just
Yeah.
traveling all the time. We also want them to know where they are, which is a
Yeah.
wild thing to say. But when you think
Yeah.
about artists and crews touring around the United States, they're going
30 cities, 30 days. Like,
right.
yeah.
It's chaos. And so we
Yeah.
want them to know where they are, and we want them to get excited about where they are and also have that kind of just liveliness of place.
Yeah.
And I think that's just really important component within the back of house space. From
Mm.
a, you know, some of them, some artists love all of the existing furniture and everything that's in there. It stays, it's great. Other artists, get it out. We're going to drag all this stuff out. We're going to bring our own stuff in. So
Yeah.
that too is always kind of kept in mind. That was a big point with Intuit Dome too, was they went full custom with all their
Mm.
artist spaces because they wanted it to be something that everybody felt just like as a premium experience. They felt comfortable. They were all super unique. Every room was unique.
Mm.
So that was super fun to do. But then you see like a selfie from Lady Gaga and you're like, oh
Yeah.
my God, that's our that's our Intuit Dome, right? So like,
Nice.
yeah, so like
Yes.
really cool stuff like that. But so they also so that was Intuit Dome's approach, right?
Yeah.
Whereas you may go over to the forum and the forum has a completely different style and vibe to their back of house.
Yeah.
And maybe you go to crypto and crypto is even a little bit more flexible because folks just want to move in and out their own stuff, right?
Right.
Because I think those big tours when you're there for multiple nights or if you're on the road for your 30/30, you kind of want your own stuff coming with you a bit so that you feel a bit more comfortable. But yeah, the back of house spaces are they're super fun. Like very chill, very homey, but also they've got a little bit of flavor in them to get people excited.
Yeah. Well,
Mhm.
and you mentioned this feeling. I mean, I suppose it's not only for the artists, but for the guests who are coming as well,
Mhm.
of knowing where you are.
Mhm.
Do you use art and culture as a tool to help reinforce this, this placemaking of, hey, this is, here's where we are today, and let's celebrate local and
Yes.
use like, yeah, art as a way to do that.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I don't know how you couldn't, Martha.
Yeah.
And I think, I gotta attribute Nine Dot for a lot of the education I learned with how important art is to placemaking, right? Like
Yeah.
the architecture can't do all the work, the program can't do all the work. Like it is important to use the art and culture to just enhance that experience for everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know how it would work without it.
Yeah. Are there installations or things that stand out in your mind that are just kind of examples of ways that was successful, um, or memorable?
For sure. Like so let's use everything at Spur. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Remember the horse on the outside?
Oh my gosh. Yes. The Norman piece, the wooden
Right.
horse composite on the external side of the building. And it just
Yeah.
kind of
Facing the
shows,
plaza now. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. That
Shows what the building's for. Yeah.
mhm. Mhm. Totally. That was huge to me. I think the hay bales was a big deal.
Yeah, the Patrick
The
Merrill, local,
Yep.
also a local artist. Yeah.
Yep. Obviously you already mentioned Nikki Pike and the waves. That too was just it was just kind of mind blowing how it tied everything together. Right? It's an
Yeah.
unexpected moment that I think leveled up what CSU was doing out at the stock show. There's so many moments at Intuit Dome that do that. Um but the biggest one is the Rafik and
Yes.
Anadol. Am I
Yep.
butchering his last
Yeah.
name?
Yeah. No,
Um,
that's right. You got it exactly right.
Understanding he's an international artist. He has, the Dataland exhibit and everything going on in LA, but there's
Yeah.
something so LA about that installation being in this public plaza, how
Yeah.
big it is, how
Yeah.
cool it is, how you can just sit there and stare at it for hours, right? And
Yeah.
I
It's
believe that
monumental.
it's monumental, and I
Hmm.
believe that it pulled the 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 forms in the installation were being pulled from flight data
That's right. Yeah.
because we were right under the
Yeah.
flight path at
Yeah.
LAX.
Yeah.
So that one to me is just I loved it. I loved it from day one. And there's all sorts of other little goose eggs and stuff throughout the arena, but that one to me hit pretty hard.
Yeah. Super
Yeah.
cool.
Mm-hmm.
When you're putting together these massive projects, do you feel like people have misconceptions about what it takes to deliver something like this?
Yeah, you can phone my mother, right? Like I don't know how you can fully grasp it without really living it.
Yeah.
You know, it is so big
Yeah.
and it takes so many people, right?
Yeah.
Like just from our management team, we had nearly 20 people.
Wow.
20 people just managing all the parts and pieces, but that's not even taking into account then all of our counterparts that we're working with that were actually on the Clippers side of things or Halo Sports and Entertainment side of things. So and then the thousands and thousands of craft workers on site too. And then bringing it back down to what I feel is a little bit more of a tangible scope in the Live Nation venues that we're doing. um, you know, you go from 18,000 with a full campus to more of a anywhere between 4,000 and 5,000 seat
Mm.
venue, right? Maybe
Yeah.
3,500 to 5,000 seat venue. And we don't have, the big city within a city accompanying it, but it's still, I mean, you still have 3, 4 people on our end, right? And
Yeah.
we have all of our design managers and then we have all of our stakeholders that you're coordinating with. And so it's sometimes it's even hard for me to wrap my head around, honestly, when you're
Yeah.
trying to tell people like, so, and they're like, what do you do, Rachel? Like, you're an architect, right? And I'm like, no, no. And they're like, well, what do you do today? And I'm like, it's a good question, right? I send a lot of emails. I make a lot of phone calls,
um,
but it's all
part
just,
diplomat,
yeah,
part entertainer,
yeah,
part like
problem solver.
problem solver, project
Mm-hmm.
management.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. And you've got to know the financial side of it too. I mean, it's every aspect from
right.
the people side to the creative side to the financial side.
Yep.
Um,
Yep. Like you're trying to wear every hat to
yeah.
bring it to life from okay, if I was an artist, if I was a guest, if I was coming in to use this space or just or if I was a professional athlete, how would I want to interact with it all the way to okay, like we got to make sure this all pencils, right? Like
Yeah.
how are we also doing this in the most cost effective way without taking away any of that integrity?
Yeah. Yeah. You're an Imagineer. You have to imagine all the different perspectives.
Yeah, I imagine a lot.
Let's think about technology because that's changed a lot. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
in the past 10 years, and certainly there's things about live entertainment that are timeless. But
Mm-hmm.
then there's things that are changing quickly in technology that could influence our guest experience. So what does that look like? What kind of changes have you seen?
Yeah. For I think just in the front of house areas, we are seeing, Intuit was at the forefront of that. The facial recognition, the apps that are being developed with it, and into it took it to the next step when it became even facial recognition to pay, right?
Oh,
So
wow.
yeah,
Yeah.
it was wild. So, but I think with all of that, it wasn't it what it's not just utilized to push more people in quicker, to get people in and out of food and beverage quicker. Like those are factors, right? Because
Hmm.
at Intuit, the whole thing was Steve Ballmer, owner of the Clippers, like he wanted butts in seats. He
Right.
doesn't want you out there in a line getting a beer. He doesn't want you out there in a line to get a hot dog. He wants you to zip through and get back to the
And
seat
enjoy the show.
and enjoy the
Yeah.
show. In which also there's the obvious financial component of that too. Yeah, we do want you to consume more, while you're there, and we want it to be as easy as possible from a food and beverage perspective. Um, but I think one of the coolest parts of it is the personalization that came with it. Right. So not only am I walking up to walk past this facial recognition device, but it's saying, "Hey, Rachel," like it says your name right there. Right. Which is,
Yeah. That's
you
cool.
can't do that unless you are constantly coming to that one venue over and over again. Right. So, meaning they would have an attendee that would be like, "Hey, hi, Rachel. I'm so glad you're back."
Yeah. Right.
Right? So you're getting those personalized moments through technology and this elevated hospitality for every single person that comes through, which is
Yeah.
super, super cool.
Yeah.
Um,
It's like democratizing the personalization, which is is new.
mhm. Yeah. Yeah, yeah. It is new. It is new. And I can only really speak about it through Intuit Dome because they were so at the forefront of
Yeah.
how that interacted with everyone. I think we were chatting the other day and I was talking about the wall.
Yeah.
So all the ticket holders in the wall, to get to their seats, they go by this screen, and I totally can't remember the name of the technology, but it's this huge screen on the main concourse where you and I, Martha, we could be walking side by side together. And when you look up at the screen, it says, "Welcome back, Martha. You've now attended 10 straight home games. We're so happy you're here." And I could walk by it and it'll be like, "Welcome here for the first time, Rachel. We're so
So
happy.
crazy.
We're so happy." Yeah. And welcome to the wall. And so it's this just bizarro technology that they were able to integrate from a fan experience perspective that is impacting every person that walks into that building. So I
Yeah.
think we were chatting, and it's not just about the courtside ticket holders and who's spending the most money. It truly was about every single person that came into that building to just be a participant.
So the cool thing about where you sit in all these projects is you see trends years before they become built environments that fans experience.
Mm-hmm.
So you're on the forefront of knowing what's coming. And then, I'm sure all the time people are, talking to you about what they want the future of
Yeah.
the lived experiences to be in live entertainment. So give us a glimpse into your kind of crystal ball. Like what are you excited about
Yeah.
in what the future holds?
Yeah, it's really interesting. I would say I truly believe that the trends for the big arenas and stadiums
Mhm.
are are far more advanced isn't the right word, but maybe they're just more trendy. Maybe
Mhm.
that's the right way to explain it than our Live Nation venues, right? Like I feel like there's a kind of keeping it true to music, right?
Yeah, like
There's
being really authentic to the
yeah.
the heart
Y
of live performance.
Yes, and it's almost keeping it, I don't want to say old school either, but it's just keeping this the live music is still the center of everything, right?
Yeah.
Like the act, the performer. So like in our venues, yeah, are we going to start looking into technology for food and beverage and security and getting people in faster? Yes. But I don't know if that same technological advancements that you're seeing in stadiums and arenas and having lights in the seats and having it be this interactive experience is important in the live music realm, right? As
Yeah.
much as it is in the sports realm, because you have all these pauses. So you have all
Yeah.
this
Right.
downtime and dead time
Right.
where you don't
Right.
have that in live music. And so it stays more true to, I just think, the soul of the artist on the
Yeah.
stage,
Yeah.
right? And they're not huge. Our
Yeah.
front of house spaces are they're they're beautiful premium bars and experiences like that. We got elevated food offerings and things and really cool club spaces. We've got this vinyl room that we're putting out all over the place. That's just it's awesome.
Sweet.
But it's also still a place where you can get a drink and interact with the bartender, and like there's still this very personal experience with it,
Mm.
whereas in the sports and arenas, like, it does make sense, like facial recognition and the quick technology for F&B. That's gonna stay. There's no moving that. But I don't know what's next in that
Yeah.
world, and it moves so quickly, and it's just, what's the next big idea?
Yeah. Well, and I enjoy your perspective on, this focus on just keeping the human elements human and at the
Hmm.
forefront of all of it, because that's why
Yeah.
we're there. We're there to see, someone perform
Right,
and
right. Like the artists, right? Like
just
they're
there to see the artist and amplifying
yeah,
that
yeah,
experience.
yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
So, okay, you've spent your career helping create these exceptional experiences for millions of people. But what about for you personally? Like, what's the best live experience you've had
Mm.
recently? What made it so good?
Mm. The so as of late, the one that sticks out in my mind is the Denver Summit home opener. Obviously, I'm into sports. Denver's a sports town, but we needed a professional women's sports team. And not that I've ever had a doubt that it would be successful, but I was like, is Denver going to show up? Is Denver going to show up and we're going to sell out in PowerCom, right? We didn't sell it out, but there were 63,000 people there for women's sports. They did the flyover, the F-16s. It was just like Goosebump City, crying. You know what I
Oh,
mean? And like
so good.
those are not palpable in emotions that I would have felt not being in that seat.
Yeah.
It was, so that was one of my, that's definitely top. And then obviously anytime you open a venue of that size and you start to let guests into the door for the first time, that's always just a crazy emotional experience. And then at Intuit, it was Bruno Mars opened.
Oh, so
My God.
good.
My
So
God.
good.
Yeah, like an insane show.
I think the things that you've shared about seeing live performance, having that lived experience together, there's something about that that's just so human that we
Mm-hmm.
can't replicate it any other way.
No.
It's something just powerful and palpable that we all want to be a part of.
Mm-hmm.
And building spaces for that takes so much vision, so much integration into the communities that surround these spaces to keep them active and exciting and part of the neighborhood fabric. I'm so glad that you were able to join us today and to share a little backstage view.
Yeah,
on how these places get built.
definitely.
So thank you. Thank you
You're
so much,
welcome.
Rachel.
You're welcome, Martha. Oh, I did want to say if I could go back to the trends
Oh,
question,
yes, please. Yes.
um, a personal trend I would like to see are concerts that start at like 3 o'clock.
I'm so into that. I'm so into that. And you know what? You could do two. You could do
If you
two
really
shows
wanted to, if you
if
really
you
want, oh,
wanted
you're right, the
to.
artist,
I'll
yeah,
come for the 3 o'clock.
right,
Anybody else can come for the 8:30 start.
right.
And we'll be out by 7:45. Y'all don't
Out
mind us.
snoozing, and
We're
I'll
gonna
even
get the
clean up
early
after
bird
myself
special
on the way.
dinner.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
gonna be in time for happy hour by the time we leave. It's gonna be perfect.
yes, yes. So if you can make that happen, that'd be great.
Oh, I'm so okay. Trend starting now.
Transferring now.
Matinee live entertainment.
Love it. Thanks, Martha. Really, really cool to be here with you today.
Oh,
So I really do
awesome.
appreciate it.
Thank you. Thanks for doing the show. And so, if our listeners want to learn more about you, Rachel, and what you're doing at Live Nation, where can they find you and follow what you're doing?
So yeah, you can definitely find me on LinkedIn. Just Rachel Quinn, Denver area, Live Nation. You may also see the term Blueprint Studio. That's also something we use kind of interchangeably. It's just it's our development and design and development studio within Live Nation. So yeah,
Cool.
I'm out there on the LinkedIn. You can find me.
Awesome. Well, we will include those links and links to other topics that you heard today in our discussion in the show notes. So check it out. Keep in touch and follow Rachel and what she's doing, and go forth and enjoy all the entertainment that the world has to offer. Thanks for joining us today.
Yeah. Thank you, Martha.